I heard somebody say this, and somebody said that's the only time. That's why I don't want to mention his name, but I mentioned his name because he said that in his life he saw him not use curse words. But it was a very powerful story by Dave Chappelle. He said when he left, all right, the industry, and now we can know why, from all that is happening, why he left industry at that point. All right? He said they gave him 50 million as a deal. He said he's not doing this. This is to trade his soul. He said he walked out of the place. And nobody understood. But now maybe we're understanding why he walked away. All right. So he walked out of the place and he said he came to Namibia. And he told this story. He said in Namibia, he found out something from what they call the bushmen. That's people that there. He said when they are looking for water and they can't find water in the forest, there's something they do. He said they know the baboons love salt. So they will put the salt into a hole so that when the baboon comes, the baboon puts his hand and gets hold of the salt. But in order to bring it out, he has to clench and hold the salt. But when he does that, the thing traps the baboon. The only way the baboon can get out is to let go of the salt. But the desire for that salt makes it hold onto the salt. And it holds onto it and doesn't let go until they come and get the baboon. Now, once they get the baboon, they now feed the baboon with a lot of salt until the baboon gets thirsty. Once the baboon is thirsty, the baboon starts running. They know that the baboon knows where the next water is. And then they follow the baboon and finally. So you can be baited out of your destiny. It meets a temporal need, but you trade your soul. Are you following what I'm saying here? So Satan comes and dangles the thing. There's a way that seemeth right. All right? And he dangles it. And he wants to do that. So he's touched. He says, but don't yield to that temptation. What should you do at that point? Let us come up to the throne of grace. Verse 16. Hebrews 4:16. Let us therefore come up to the throne of grace that we may obtain mercy. Which means in that time, let go of that salt and come up to the throne of grace. That this is where you come to God and know God as your source. That a man says you are not going to advance a woman in your career in this particular institution unless you sleep with me. And he looks at it and says, we'll give you this and we'll give you that and we'll give you this if you do it. And you let go of it and say, look, I cannot. And then you go to the throne of grace that I have a God. All right, you go there. Says, let no man say when he's tempted, I'm tempted of God. He says, God is not there. He says, don't err. Every good and perfect gift comes from above. Go to God there. He says that you may obtain mercy, which means if you make that decision and switch and say, God is going to be my source here, he says, the mercy of God will be bestowed. People will say after some time in your life, it is not of him that runneth, nor of him that willeth, but it's of God, all right, that showeth mercy. And he says you will find grace to help you in that particular time there of need. So there is a weakness there that Satan is trying to exploit. All right? And he says, come up to the throne of grace that you may obtain mercy.